Hello everybody and welcome to Let's Play Tactics Ogre, Let Us Cling Together PSP Remake, with me, Get Daved. It's a game by Yasumi Matsuno, the same guy who directed Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm playing on emulator for simplicity, because recording off of a PSP is not fun for me, and let's just get right into it, shall we? Bad news everybody, it's an age of war. The game is inspired by the ethnic cleansings and various fighting in Yugoslavia that Yasumi Matsuno remembered watching on the telly growing up. A lot of people consider it, well, compared to Final Fantasy Tactics, to have a relatively dark plot. So get ready to feel all sorts of awful things. Oh, when was I born? We're just gonna go entirely off of what has the best sounding month. Shadow scale sounds pretty cool, but it also sounds a bit like a disease. Ooh, okay, we're gonna go with, my goal is to get to the 7th day of, storm scale, because that sounded great. Darn you. We'll find a way to make this happen. There we go. Day 7 of Storm Scale. Good times. Good news, everybody. Fire engulfs your home. Whom do you save from the flames? I did not expect to have as many important decisions coming my way. Oh boy. I think you have to save the child, don't you? I mean, it's definitely not my parents. No offense. Yeah, I mean, how do you not save a child? The adult at least will understand. How do you bring together two disparate clans? So I mean, if they can have a common religion, that can be a really powerful thing. I mean, by extension, I mean, I would even argue like matrimony is an extension of a religious bond. But that can backfire. Churches split. Religions sometimes disagree, although I would argue usually they're the means, not the end. Which is my... oh, easy. The art in this game, by the way, is beautiful. I'm a huge fan of it. I think it's by Akihiko Yoshida, who's one of my favorites. What is God to me? I mean, so there's the cynical response. There's the other cynical response. What is God to me? If I'm loyal to him, then he's an exemplar. I have no time for the rest. You take your friend's lover. What will you do next? Oh my goodness. Keep the lover for my own. Guess we're not friends anymore. Savor the moment or put it from my mind. None of the above? Feel racked with guilt and self-loathing for the rest of my days? But if we're speaking of these options, I mean... look, you've already done it. I had a friend, Peter, who used to say, I know I'm going to hell, so I'm going straight to the bottom. Which path will you walk? This is a game with a branching story. So, there's a lot at stake with determining the path we'll walk. Welcome to the game, everybody. The original was March of the Black Queen on Super Nintendo, but I don't believe there were 6 prequels at the point this game came out. Don't quote me on that though, I'm not very familiar with this. I have played some of this game. Akihiko Yoshida! I believe the greatest game artist of all time. That's my opinion. You can tell the stuff he drew. The portraits and all that. I'm sure we'll have context for this someday. The music in the game is beautiful as well. Unfortunately, we'll be tacking over a whole bunch of it. But I encourage you to play the game yourself if you want to check it out. I've got a little border on things just because the PSP is pretty low. Oh my. This is a flashback, I think. So the scenes you're seeing are a mix of past and present, I believe. I put a little border on it just because we're already inflating the game's resolution by a factor of 3, and I could full screen it, but we'd lose a little bit on the top and bottom. And I figured this was the best solution because if I blow it up anymore, it's not like you're getting additional resolution. So, my apologies if you're not a fan of the technical presentation. Oh my! What horrors are we witnessing now? That boy who ran out of the church was Denim, our protagonist. And Yasumi Matsuno loves beginning his games with someone on horseback. Now, some parts of this game will make you feel good, but we've got to go through some dark times to get there, just so you know. And there are tough choices awaiting us, so I'm not kidding, this game is not for the faint of heart. What are we planning? Vice is a man of action. Alright, looks like we're going out into the night. We're going out to pick a fight with anyone. Yeah, I get the impression, not that I know much about how this game goes down. I've only played the first bit. But Vice is, got a little bit more anger in him. Well, or at least he manifests it through aggression a bit more than the others. Denim's a bit more pragmatic and measured. Gonna have to do a lot of killing to topple that. So I believe he's trying to weaken them so someone else will conquer a nation they hate. There's different clans in this game, so the Wallister is one worth remembering. That's us. Our land has been conquered. All right, let's do this, everybody. All right, let's take this guy out. So I guess they don't know what's coming. So, it's essentially turn-based. I'll help you with these sorts of things. So we can check people out by mousing over and pressing the triangle, but what we want to do is move in. I think that's all we can do for now. Good start, boys. And by the way, we would totally get our butts handed to us by these guys. Sorry. Don't you know who I am? Oh. This is just a different guy named Lancelot. So it looks like we're trying to get vengeance against the tragedies we saw in the opening credits. Lancelot Hamilton. Warren is a recurring character in multiple Ogre battle games. We'll just leave it at that for now. He's sometimes the narrator, usually a playable character in all of them, I think. You look a bit sketchier by your haircut, sir. Don't patronize me. Oh. Well, things have turned for the better. Haha. Yeah, I guess we could be a bit paranoid, but I mean, these guys have already not overwhelmed us. We could go by the water. Alright, so already we've nearly picked a fight with the wrong person. Alright, the politics will be a little complicated up front, but they will both make sense and make less sense as we play through the game. War is madness. Alright. Alright, so super powerful soldiers, but they are not frontline guys. More like spies. And why don't we like backroom? Yeah, so these guys are from a totally unrelated country altogether. Outlaws, what did you do? Oh, settle down, Vice. You are more patient than you ought to be, Lancelot. Alright, so we've got a duke we care about in prison somewhere. Almerica's not a nation or anything, it's just like a city or something to that effect. Well, we should stop that. There we go. We've got somebody who might be rich. They are men of action, too. Then in the front door. her name was Kachua in the original, so I'll probably say it like that. Sorry if it's wrong. She's a bit more... Well, she's not as brave as the other two, that's for sure, but she's also highly reasoned. Denim gets the delightful position of being the tiebreaker often. Correct. Sorry. Ah, she's concerned of losing the only family she has left. This is a... If you're familiar with Final Fantasy Tactics, or anything Yasumi Matsuno, is words like this, and I don't know how the story ends, but... oh boy. He never had time to make that promise. Solid point. There you go, there's her reasoned side as well. Don't think she's the good one and Vice is the bad one, because you also note Vice, despite his anger, almost all of his points are very well made. And she'll do what it takes. Alright, guests we don't have control of. Welcome to the map, everybody. Just some quick tutorials. So this is our first destination. We will have a sequence of battles. And maybe we'll try hammering out the first one. Yeah, let's go for it. There's not much... Of course. This is because people got stuck in Final Fantasy Tactics, so they're a bit more sensitive to the issue of people blocking themselves. Alright. In the front door. What, been hiding out in Goliath? Yes, we are. Oh, cool, we have a bounty on us. Alright, in this game, the stats are fairly complicated, but it all boils down to you wanting larger numbers. Having level advantage is usually the simplest way to get that. Special characters don't have super unique classes in this one, although they might have classes that are rare to get, so some of these guys are knights. That's a fairly common one, not that we have access to it now. But my point is, unique characters that come in a class usually have some slightly better base stats tuned to those classes. So if you've got someone who's a knight, you want to use them as a knight. You might be able to make your own, but teaching us a little bit of how to move around. Yeah, he can fly, so he can have any mobility he wants. He's also equipped with sword and bow. At the bottom, you'll see the order of turn activation. The heavier your equipment, the harder it is to get your turns coming up. It negatively impacts your speed. So you can move once, you can act once, and you can use one skill if you have skills available. That's right, and you need not commit to your movement. This is one other little twist. Nobody starts with MP, but as time goes up, MP accumulate. So rather than having things like charge time, also, evasion is a very big part of this game. In Final Fantasy Tactics, which I'll use as a comparison because it's a more well-known game, or Fire Emblem even, or XCOM, accuracy is relatively high. Yeah, the only melee or ranged attack we have is throwing rocks. Don't get me wrong, having a rock thrown at you is difficult, but it's not like getting stabbed. Your goal is generally to flank people. Alright, Warren's first use of magic. Line of sight matters for some of it. We'll worry about this stuff later. Basically, you learn magic and then need to equip it. So changing classes requires class marks. We'll worry about that later as well. This is really not appropriate for the first battle. Yep, we have items that can heal us. That's what they're talking about. We're gonna have a nice long Let's Play here, so I'm not gonna let them do most of the tutorials. We'll gradually scaffold through them. Oh yeah, this is one other thing. So similar to games like Valkyria Chronicles, characters don't have levels, classes have levels, and characters have classes. Oh, is it a trap? He's not here and he's not going to be executed. Or maybe he is. This one's important, so we'll grind through it right now. Yep, that's a common trait knights have, so you can impede their movement this way. So knights make an excellent bottleneck because if you put them on the stairs or whatever, nobody can get past them immediately. Of course you did. It's a very Vice thing to say. Coupled with the music, he's actually pretty badass. Oh guys, you gotta stop bickering on the battlefield like this. Alright. It will be a little bit before we can finally get into the action. Let's keep saving up. So some of the skills you can get... Ah, dang it. We'll never know what that item was. Well, you're toast. There you go. An example of the relatively high evasion values of this game. If you can attack someone from behind, your odds are always better. That's right. The Lotus Clan. Or the land, anyway. I don't know if it's a clan by this game's parlance. Canopus is pretty great. We'll be enjoying his flexibility of movement and range quite a bit. We have some really strong units with us, so they just don't stand a chance. There we go. That's Kachua's thing. She's a priest, so healing spells come with the territory. You really don't want her engaging in combat directly, like most mage characters, but really, the disparity is quite impressive. I mean, look, Those guys are killing enemies faster than Denim can walk, so that'll change later. Finally got enough MP to do a damaging attack. My goodness. This is pretty good damage output. Like, 10 videos from now, we'll be thankful if we can do 50. Yeah, 5. That's about right. So these huge disparities are coming from the levels and stats of these characters. We'll be able to upgrade those with time, but it will require time. Any character has the potential to have their stat maxed. Any stat, any character. It's just a matter of time and grinding out levels to find items. Leveling up also helps, but they might not be able to sufficiently level up a stat without finding boosting items. That said, there's a secret stat that relates to how quickly a character gets their turn, and that is completely unchangeable. So we'll deal with that more later as we start to encounter people who have really good values of that stat. And victory is ours because we routed the leader. I don't think you get those items that are unpicked up, but you get tons of spoils after every fight. Dynast King's Mead. Copper Oberiths we can sell for money. Alright, experience is shared amongst everybody. There you go. And all the different classes. And you can see there's 2 people icons by White Knight and Warrior. So 2 warriors, Denim and Vice, 2 White Knights, what's his face and his buddy. The old one and the sketchy looking one. Skill points are at the character level. They unlock abilities. Job points would be a rough analog in Final Fantasy Tactics. Yeah, they're just going over that. Skill points are entirely individual, and we will be able to learn different skills and equip them to our characters. Sure, you guys are the mercenaries. That looks dangerous to go inside. And I will see you all in the next episode. Thanks for watching.